Welcome back to the Tamez Labs Startup Series, featuring the hottest startups in the world right now. I'm your host, Tripwire. Today on the show, Reka AI, the company building compact, powerful, multimodal models that are revolutionizing public safety and slashing crime rates through intelligent technology. Picture this: a police department in Ohio, overwhelmed, understaffed, looking at the same problems every department faces. What do? They didn't hire more cops. They didn't buy more cars. They taught their cameras to think. Crime dropped 42%. Cases solved 65% faster. All because someone asked a different question. That's the thing about breakthroughs, right? They don't come from doing more of what everyone else is doing. They come from seeing the problem differently. The company behind this is Reka AI. You've probably never heard of them. That's kind of the point. While everyone's watching OpenAI and Google throw billions at bigger and bigger models, Reka went the other direction. They built something smaller, faster, cheaper to run, but somehow just as capable. It's like they read everyone else's playbook and decided to do the opposite. They just raised $110 million. NVIDIA and Snowflake led the round. The company's now valued at $1 billion. But here's what matters. They're not selling you on the future. They're selling you on what works right now, today, in the real world, where messy problems need practical solutions. Their flagship model is called Reka Flash. It has 21 billion parameters. Now, for those of you who don't speak AI, parameters are basically the switches and dials inside a model that help it understand things. The big frontier models everyone talks about, they've got hundreds of billions, even trillions of parameters. Reka Flash is tiny by comparison, but it punches way above its weight class. It matches or beats models many times its size on the benchmarks that actually matter for real work. So how is that possible? Well, here's where Reka gets interesting. Their models genuinely understand multiple types of data at once. You can feed them a 3-minute video, a stack of PDF documents, some images, audio files, and they'll reason across all of it simultaneously. They're not just converting everything to text and processing it sequentially. They're actually built from the ground up to think multimodally. That 128,000 token context window means you can throw substantial amounts of information at these models, and they'll hold it all in their working memory. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, another AI company promising to change everything. But here's the difference: function calling and structured outputs. Reka's models can use tools, call APIs, and return reliable data that integrates cleanly into existing software systems. That's the difference between a demo that impresses people at a conference and a product that actually ships and solves problems. Companies can deploy these models through an API if they want the easiest path, or they can run them on-premise if they've got security requirements that won't bend, or set them up in a private cloud environment. That flexibility matters when you're talking to enterprises with compliance departments who say no to everything by default.
Building a new product? Tamez Labs takes you from napkin sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at tamez.ai.
But the real product isn't just the models. It's what Reka built on top of them. Reka Vision is a visual search and reasoning platform that can watch video feeds, understand what's happening, and answer natural language questions about what it sees. That's what the Ohio Police Department is using. Think about this. Instead of scrubbing through hours of footage or relying on basic license plate readers, officers can ask questions and get answers. Show me every person wearing a red jacket who entered this building today. Find all the vehicles that drove past this location going the wrong direction. The system understands context, tracks objects across multiple camera angles, and connects patterns that would take humans days to piece together. Then there's Reka Research, which is basically an AI research assistant that can crawl the web, parse documents, and synthesize information while showing you its reasoning. The transparency is key here. Before each action, it shows you what it's thinking. You can see the logical path it's following, which addresses one of the biggest concerns enterprises have about putting AI into production. When an AI makes a decision that affects your business, you need to understand why, even when the AI is more coherent than half the humans in your meetings. And yes, I realize the irony of me saying that. The efficiency story is what really sets Reka apart. They're training these models using orders of magnitude less computing power than their competitors. That's not just a cost saving for Reka, it means lower prices for customers and the ability to run sophisticated AI in places where you couldn't before. They've got a model called Reka Speech that runs on phones, in cars, on robots, with about 900 million parameters and less than a gigabyte of memory. It outperforms Whisper Large v3 for transcription and translation, even though Whisper is 3 times bigger. That's the kind of efficiency that changes what's possible. The problem Reka's solving is actually pretty fundamental. Most large language models are either text-only or have multimodal capabilities bolted on as an afterthought. If you're an enterprise with warehouses full of visual data, or manufacturing facilities with video feeds, or media archives, or really any business that deals with the real world in all its messy multimedia glory, the existing tools don't cut it. GPT-4 is impressive, but it's not easy to customize to your specific data and workflows. You can't run it on your own infrastructure, and the cost of using it at scale adds up fast. Fine-tuning existing models for specific enterprise use cases is technically complex and expensive. You need in-house AI expertise, which most companies don't have and can't afford to build. Reka's approach is different. They use distillation and reinforcement learning pipelines to customize models to proprietary datasets and specific business metrics. You don't need a team of AI researchers. You tell them what success looks like for your business, and they optimize the model to maximize that metric. Reka's based in Sunnyvale, California. Snowflake's particularly interesting as an investor here. They actually held acquisition talks with Reka, but both companies decided it made more sense to move independently. Snowflake's VP of AI engineering put it bluntly. Almost everyone at that level of talent is at OpenAI, Meta, or Anthropic. Reka is one of the rare independents, and they've proven they can compete. The founding team came out of DeepMind, which explains the technical chops. Danny Yogatama and Cyprien de Masson d'Autume worked on systems like AlphaCode and Bard before starting Reka. They emerged from stealth mode and moved remarkably fast. Within 2 years, they've launched multiple production platforms handling real enterprise workloads. That speed matters in a space where being 6 months behind can mean irrelevance. They've been smart about distribution, too. Reka's models are available through Oracle Cloud Marketplace and Alibaba Cloud Model Studio, meeting enterprises where they already buy infrastructure. They partnered with Carahsoft to make their solutions available through government contracting vehicles, which opens up the public sector market. And Snowflake offers Reka's models to its clients, giving them instant access to a massive enterprise customer base.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The use cases are expanding fast. That police department in Ohio is the dramatic example, but there's also industrial manufacturing companies using Reka Vision to monitor production lines and catch defects, media companies using it to search through video archives, and logistics companies optimizing warehouse operations. Anywhere you've got visual data that needs to be understood at scale, Reka's technology fits. So what's the insight here? What's compelling about Reka is that they're not trying to win by building the biggest model. They're winning by building models that are efficient enough to actually deploy everywhere they're needed, capable enough to handle real multimodal reasoning, and flexible enough to adapt to specific business requirements. That's a different game than the one most AI companies are playing, and it might be the more important one. The AI industry has been obsessed with scale. More parameters, more compute, more data. Reka's betting that efficiency and deployability matter more than raw size. When you can achieve comparable performance with a fraction of the resources, you change the economics of AI deployment. Suddenly, it's feasible to run sophisticated models on device, or in edge environments, or in situations where you can't afford to send everything to the cloud. This matters because the real AI revolution isn't going to happen in chat interfaces and consumer apps. It's going to happen when every camera, every sensor, every piece of equipment in the physical world can understand what it's seeing and make intelligent decisions about it. That requires models that are efficient enough to run everywhere, smart enough to handle complex reasoning, and practical enough to integrate into existing systems. That's what Reka's building. And that police department in Ohio? That's just the beginning of what becomes possible when you get the architecture right. When you stop asking, how big can we build this, and start asking, how useful can we make it? Thank you for listening. You can show our podcast team some love with 5 stars and a follow. Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Grep News. Tamez.